Hi, I'm Craig. I run sound at my church in Port Perry. This is New Song Anglican Church. The church I grew up in Markham was Centennial Baptist Church, and I started working the sound and all the gear when I was about 12. And when I was 12 or 13, my brother and I were crawling under the stage, wiring new plugs and expanding our system to meet our church's needs, and it sort of got the bug and sort of kept with it. Kept doing sound there, and I also play. I'm a musician before I'm a sound guy. I lead in this church actually from time to time. I led last Sunday, and I'm leading on Easter. So it's all volunteers, and they do the best they can with the limited time they have. A number of churches have hired me in to do formal training on. I go to that church so I can work with their gear and specifically design a course for them. How to mix, how to build a mix so it sounds like music. And then we get into more detailed things like EQing and compression if they have that capability on their stuff. The TF is fantastic. I find it's the easiest console I've ever used. I mean, I find the user interface the easiest one on the market that I've used. It's really easy to teach people on it. We've had people in this church use it who are in high school, and people who are retired in their 70s, and they pick it up just as easily. And it's really neat to see people get excited about technology they can understand. Touchscreen I find incredibly useful, and I think my favorite feature is the custom fader bank. I've always wished any soundboard with layers needs a custom layer, so you can pick and choose and have what you need. This past Sunday, I had to do sound and lead, so I had the iPad sitting beside me while I was playing and singing along. I use it when I lead, I have it there beside me, so I can just fix it if I need to quickly. Our church is really small, and the need for monitors is pretty small. So the biggest feedback for everybody is just the ease of use, so they can have their volunteers come in and know sort of how to use it. Some of the other churches have had older Yamaha gear, and if you look at it, I know how to do that already. And it's a real big selling feature that way. And the churches that haven't used it, they just like how easy it is, and they can still have their same volunteers. They don't have to train anybody new, and it's very much like using an analog board with a multi-touch screen. I really like it. I mean, the main console I used before this would have been an M7, and just the newer technology in it, I think it sounds better. And for such a small footprint and such a small console to sound better than one of the bigger, older consoles is phenomenal. I've used some of your powered speakers in the past, and they blew my mind. Small, they're little 8-inch ones, and I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I've used a few other manufacturers' stuff, and I've liked some of them. And one other one that lots of churches like because of the price point, I can't stand it. And I find, again, the user interface, which I think is the most important part in a church, is to have volunteers who feel confident in what they're doing. That's the main issue for me, and the TF is the best I've seen. I think anywhere from the smallest church that needs a sound console up to fairly large church. I could even see the former church I had was about 800 people, and I could almost run everything I need to off of it. It would be really, really close. I just actually helped a church set up a system with the Dante snakes and the TIO box, and it was one of the easiest things I've ever done. It's really nice only having to run one small cable instead of a few big ones. Flip the switch and turn it on. Right. That was it. Yeah. I think it's fantastic. I think churches and houses of worship have needed that. Just somewhere for their volunteers to go to get good information, and to have products that, to me, seem like they're geared toward houses of worship, particularly, is fantastic. The biggest challenge is having the time to learn, finding time in their week to schedule out time to train themselves and to be able to go to their house of worship or their church to spend time on the console to learn how to do it, and also to find either someone to train them or to find material online or anywhere else that gives them hands-on applications to see how to do it. One of the passions in my life is to have good sound in church, and there's really no reason not to. The biggest hurdle to that is commitment level. of the people involved. Yamaha makes it easy by having user interfaces that are easy to learn, having consoles that people like to use and find it easy. They're not overwhelmed with all the inner workings of it. Even though they might be there, they don't have to know everything about it to make it work and to sound good.